Everybody. Hello, happy Pranic Sunday. Happy Pranic Sunday on this Easter Sunday special. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you are doing today, whatever you're celebrating, welcome. Um, I always find this particular weekend really fascinating. So I find it fascinating for a few reasons. Like when I lived in North America, Easter Sunday, there was always this big kind of like big Easter dinner, kind of like Christmas and New Year's. There's always, or Thanksgiving, there was always like a big dinner, right? Everyone knew that they were going to kind of feast themselves, and there's usually a lot of chocolate eggs wherever you are in the world if it's a predominantly Christian-based country like the UK is. And then there's usually a lot of chocolate eggs as well, right? And I thought it'd be really, really poignant today to talk about something that we all do, right? To not only talk about something that we all do, but also just kind of explore a little bit why we may do it. Okay, so we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about food, but not in the way that you'll hear nutritionists talk about food, not in the way that you'll hear doctors talk about food, not in the way that you'll hear anyone that is pro any type of movement or agenda as well. Because the thing is that there is so much opinion. There is so much opinion and interpretation on what science is, on what truth is, and it's all interpretation. That's all it is. It's all interpretation backed by facts that someone has found. But the thing is that you can find a fact to back up anything. And what's really interesting in today's world, and the reason why I want to talk about this on a Pranic Sunday, is because we can very much become slave to our cravings, to our desires, to our hormones, to the chemicals that are moving through our body. And then when it gets to that point, which actually we're kind of conditioned that way anyway, but when it gets to that point, it's like, who's really in control? Are you in control of your body and your mind, or is your mind and your body in control of you, right? So it's a really interesting topic to discuss, because normally today there is a lot of feasting that happens, right? But how do we feel when we do that? How do we feel when we consume whatever we're consuming? And what I really want to offer today is that invitation to connect actually with your body, to connect with what it is that you're actually feeling, right? Because, we have the cravings that we have, they're actually just chemicals, right? When we feel like we may be hungry, that's a chemical reaction, right? When we feel like we may want a certain food, why do we feel like we want that food? If we feel like sometimes we want chocolate, why do we feel like we want chocolate? If we feel like sometimes we need meat or dairy or bread or whatever, why do we feel like we need that? And it's really interesting because it all comes back to what it is that we're masking, what it is that we're avoiding. Because the body is so programmed in a way that we will essentially have so many programs running within us that we don't even notice what's happening. And that's when it kind of comes back to the whole, who's running your body and your mind? Is it you, or is your body and mind running you instead? Who is the you, right? So it's really interesting, because whenever we find ourselves eating something, we do it so mindlessly, often so mindlessly. And even sometimes when we kind of create a dish and we think that we're connecting with what it is that we want, and we're going to make something that we feel like we want to eat, do we actually really want to eat that? Or is that a unconscious, or a subconscious, I should say, pattern, or a behavior that's kind of clicked into place, right? Because until we actually quiet the mind enough, until we actually quiet our body enough to notice what it is we feel around a certain thing, oftentimes we'll find ourselves hungry, but are we actually hungry? Do we actually need food? Do we actually need solid food at that point in time? Or is something happening that's triggered an emotional response? Because that's usually what triggers a hunger, right? Emotion. And then we choose to numb it with food. Because food really, now let's just put this out there to start off with. If you do not nourish yourself, you will die, right? You need to nourish yourself with something. But it's very linear in today's world with what that nourishment looks like. A lot of people connect that with a particular diet plan, or a particular solid food, or a particular kind of way of eating. But really, nourishment can be anything. We talk on Pranic Sundays about, cultivating your prana, cultivating your chi, receiving that nourishment from the earth and the sun, right? And when you've undergone pranic initiation, when you've started looking into breatharianism or whatever you choose to call it, just cultivating that chi, you start to realize that actually instinctively you intuitively know, your body knows, if you allow it to remember, how to actually thrive from different forms of nourishment, right? And I have actually linked in the description of this video, and if you're watching this on the replay on Instagram, then it'll be in my bio. But I've linked the Pranic family Telegram group because they it'll be a free group by the end of this month, but the link is for the free join-in. But it's a space where every week we do dry fasting, right? And we teach a lot of things like, breathing and tantra and, movement, qigong, things like that. It all gets kind of shared and taught in that space. And at the end of this month, there's going to be another pranic initiation where we will dry fast for 3.5 days, but we're not starving ourselves from food. And this is kind of the premise as to where I'm coming from here, because I'm seeing so many people just scoffing their faces. I'm out for a walk and so many people are just literally, they're filling their faces with all this like food, and I'm just going, wow, I wonder if you're going to feel any better after eating that, Hi everybody that's joining live, thank you for being here. So I find it really interesting. Really interesting because when we do a pranic initiation, or when we do a intro into breatharianism, where we do a 3.5 day dry fast, we're still nourishing ourselves, we're still feeding ourselves, except we're remembering and learning how to cultivate prana and chi. We're learning how to, hello, there's a little dog here. We're learning how to say hi to the dog. I attract animals everywhere I go. They remind us how to be present, hey? It's all right, mate. They remind us how to be present and enjoy life. Dogs are beautiful. Anyway. So we remind ourselves in those pranic initiations and in those moments where we actually don't have food in the traditional sense. See, the dog just wants to come back. He loves my energy, because this is what happens when you build your prana and your chi. You get surrounded by the beautiful animals. Hi, darling. It's okay. You can stay here if you want. We get surrounded and we just attract like magnets these beautiful innocent creatures. Anyway. So she's all right. It's okay. So anyway, right, let's get back to it. So so when you undergo pranic initiation, when you go through a pranic feast, you're reminding yourselves how to cultivate that prana, how to cultivate within you that nourishment that actually fulfills you and aligns you with your energy, with your source energy. Now, what's really, really interesting here is that so many people, we're all conditioned to think that we need a certain food, we need certain vitamins and minerals. You're all right, don't worry about it. Vitamins and minerals to actually be able to survive in a really great way. But the truth of the matter is that they're just opinions. They're just opinions. What feels good to you, right? Why are you? It's all right. Why are you eating something? Why are you drinking something? Are you doing it because you actually need that specific thing, or are you doing it because you feel like you want it? And do you feel like you want it because you're ignoring and masking something, right? Because I know, like, oftentimes if I feel, I could do with some chocolate, I've not eaten any chocolate today, and I will probably have a ceremonial cacao later, but I don't feel like I want that I need that. But if that was to be the desire that I had, first thing I would do, and this is what I actually want to encourage everyone to do, is place your hand on your stomach. Place your hand wherever you're feeling that. Is it your heart? Is it your stomach? The owner of that dog is just like, or the guardian of that dog is like, come on, back on the lead now. He's so apologetic. I'm like, no, dude, it's good, it's fine. But consuming whatever, then we don't have to consume it. But then we've opened the door to actually connect with ourselves deeper. Because let me tell you now, the feeling that you can get from being in alignment with what it is that you're consuming, from being in alignment and knowing that what you actually are eating or drinking, or if you're nourishing off the sun, for example, the feeling that you get when it's in pure alignment, when it's at its purest form, it's unequivocal to anything else. And you'll be noticing as well, you may be noticing that your diets feel like they want to change. You may be noticing that your eating and drinking habits may want to change right now, because with all the sun that is coming in, with the solar flares that are coming in, I spoke about this on the weekly guidance that is on my YouTube right now. but with everything that is coming in, you know, we are getting upgraded, right? Our bodies are going through like a chain reaction. Our cells are going through a chain reaction. We are shifting what we actually desire and need, right? Because we're realizing that there's actually more to it than all the fear mongering that kind of comes from what anyone anywhere will say. Trust your own guts, trust your own discernment, connection with the food, with the drink, with whatever it is that you're choosing to nourish yourself with. Connect with it first before it even goes into your body, and then decide, do I actually want to allow this, whatever it is, food, drink, something else, do I actually want to allow this to merge with me? Because is it going to align me further, or is it not? So many people are so mindless when we eat, right? You know, why are you eating that? I don't know. I just felt like it. Going into the kitchen through boredom, right? But let me tell you now, if you can stop before you just mindlessly, and I include myself in this, before we mindlessly put something into our mouth, if we can just stop for a moment, connect with it and go, actually, what am I feeling first? I'm gonna bet most of the time you'll be feeling something, whether it's boredom, grief, sadness, something. There'll be something. There's another dog right here now. You'll be feeling something that the food is going to mask, because that's a pattern that we've created through our whole lifetimes, that our parents have had, that their parents have had, that their parents have had, right? It's time to break that cycle. It's time to be really conscious about what we are consuming, what we are merging with, and it's time to really honor ourselves, right? Should you choose to accept this invitation, right? But it's time to really honor ourselves. We are worth that, because you've got to feel it to heal it. And if we're numbing ourselves with food without even realizing, it might feel like it's something really healthy. It might be an apple, but still, that's a distraction for the body for feeling something. Even though it might seem like it's really healthy, that's still a distraction, because it requires energy focus into your stomach to digest that. Right. So just a really interesting topic, and it is Sunday. In the Pranic family group today, in the free group, we do the dry fast from 6 p.m. UK time, I think it is, or I think it's 6 p.m. UK time this week, for 24 hours. I really invite you to try it out. Try it out and just like blow the walls off any limiting beliefs that your mind has based off what everyone who seems to be an expert in their field knows, because no one is an expert in their field about you. No one is an expert on you other than you. And even ourselves, we are not an expert yet on ourselves, because we haven't took the time, right? So anyway, I love you all so much. Have a beautiful Easter, Ostara, Ramadan, whatever. You know, enjoy your connection. Thank you for being here, and thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I love hearing what you think and how you receive these videos. And I will see you on Tuesday on Instagram Live. Yeah, and I'll see those that are participating in From Illusion to Love, the Master Shadow Integration course. I'll see you on the next email that goes out at the end of this week. So still time to jump into that beautiful 6-week container. It is an ongoing replay, you know, do in your own time course, but where you really want to face the shadows that are coming up and the wounds and the illusions that we have. If you really want to integrate them and balance them out so they don't have a active hold over you, have a look at that. Right, have a look at that course, From Illusion to Love. I'll make sure I link it as well somewhere, either in the comments or the bio or whatever. But anyway, have a beautiful day. I love you all. Mwah. Bye. And just like, get some sun. Be nourished by the sun.